This week, we discuss Maddie freeing herself from Doug,
Michael isolating himself in his loneliness,
and how Buck continues to show up and act like Eddie's co-parent.
Have you ever watched something that completely rewired your brain chemistry?
A procedural network drama might not be your usual pick, but it's ours.
This is The Buddie System, a 911 deep dive podcast hosted by three friends who have DM'd each other enough character dissertations to earn a PhD in media literacy.
I'm Han, coming to you straight from the characters' heads.
I'm Sil, bringing you to the observation deck.
And I'm Rachel, connecting the dots with my red string.
With our powers combined,
no stone is left unturned.
And no buddy is left behind.
This episode brought to you by Cancer Roulette. Welcome to Dispatch. What's on call this week?
This week, we're discussing Season 3, Episode 10, Christmas Spirit. Written by Andrew Myers, directed by Alonso Alvarez Barreda. Director of photography is Joaquin Cedillo. Originally aired December 2nd, 2019.
We have some festive calls of the week. First one being the nice list finished last, where holiday shopping escalates quickly when parents start fighting over the hottest toy in town, resulting in a pepper-sprayed Santa and kids' Christmas dreams getting crushed. Our next one is Plain Cracker Sweet at the Tarmac Ballet. An airport luggage cart seemingly gets a mind of its own when a set of golf clubs get slammed onto the gas pedal, causing chaos and a worker to get stuck into a jet engine of a plane as it's about to take off. Our next one is Santa's Biggest Helper, where a young boy giving his mom a Christmas surprise has to call 911 after she suddenly collapses. And the last one is a blue Christmas, where a woman treats her severe toothache by overdosing on benzocaine and wakes up Smurf blue. It doesn't feel like Christmas because we're recording this in June, but we're trying to be in the spirit because nobody else was in the spirit in the episode.
It's June-miss.
I guess. June-miss. Yes. Christmas in July. July-ist.
Dear Lord.
Whenever this airs.
Jesus Christ. What a great episode. What a depressing episode. I feel like I've been saying this for several episodes in a row.
Bro.
We have.
I said "ro" and then it was like, I gotta say bro. It just sounds nice, right? It just rolls off the tongue.
You're so right, bro. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How long do you think it's going to be until people are sick of us saying bro every other sentence?
I don't know. I want to know what the uptick in bro is, if there even really is much of one. Because I know that...
For us? Or
yeah, because
no,
I think
it's gone up.
I don't know that it's gone up that much. I think there's just emphasis on us saying bro.
That is true. Just for funsies.
For funsies. Anyway, really good episode. I don't know. I love this season. But bro, I need more comic relief. Like a lot more, I think. Because this was a lot of like cancer. I feel like if you're gonna give me two dads potentially with cancer, I need more comedy to kind of like balance that out a little bit. But yeah, really good. I really love the scene, the end with everyone at the firehouse, and we should do those things again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really think we need another Christmas episode. I'm glad that they brought back Halloween for season 8. I need a Halloween episode and I need a Christmas episode. As far as this episode goes, yeah, it's a good episode. I feel like I said this previously where I'm like, oh, it's like wrapping up everyone's like 3A storylines again, which is really what they did and pretty much succeeded, I think. Kind of piggybacking off of what Han said, I do want another like everyone at the firehouse and everyone celebrating or a barbecue at whoever's house, whoever's hosting, because I don't know who's hosting.
And like for a happy occasion, not Eddie's moving back to Texas. That does not.
Yeah. That was
not Bobby just died. Eddie's moving back to Texas, and then Buck says some out of pocket shit about switching firehouses. That doesn't.
Oh God,
No.
that does not count.
No,
It does not count. It is depressing. I mean, like, and I feel like this is so typical, like when you do like a Christmas episode and then you just like put that like little bombshell or bomb at the end, of course. So, and it of course had to be cancer. I don't know. I just feel like it's so typical. But it's still a good episode overall.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. There's something about, you can have like a really cute Christmas episode. I think they gave that to us in season 2, where it was like really heartwarming and everything like that. So they had to kind of do something a little different. And again, I think we're realizing how like depressing season 3 is. So it's kind of par for the course here, because they say like the whole time, like it doesn't feel like Christmas, because it kind of doesn't. They've been through so much, but it's a fantastic episode, because again, it's a great ensemble. Everybody has their moments. Everybody kind of interacts with each other in slightly different ways, but they still have their own stuff going on. And I am kind of a little bit of a sucker for like, people not feeling the Christmas spirit, but then eventually someone does something for everybody, and it kind of like turns the tide a little bit, and it's just like, oh, there's the heartwarming like holiday thing. So like it leaves you, well, mostly on a better note, but then it just kind of like hits you again with the Michael blow. But it's really well done, and I think this was Andrew Meyer's second episode that he wrote for 911, the first one being Ocean's 911 from last season. And it's such a different vibe. It's like totally completely like opposite vibe. So I think like his range.
He's got a good range. He has a really good handle on the characters.
He did 704, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Co-wrote it.
Silly.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Love his brand.
I know. I know, right? Like, oh, let's see. Brawl and Cell Block 911, yes. Fearophobia.
Yeah.
Recovery, Pay It Forward.
Yeah.
Fuck, Bothered, and Bewildered.
And
Ashes, Confessions.
Like
we love Andrew Myers in this house.
We do love Andrew Myers in this house.
Yeah. So excellent episode. It gives you enough of like the holiday thing at like by the end, and I think it infuses a little bit more of that, like, and then takes it away immediately. But par for the course for season 3.
It's a more realistic Christmas episode, honestly, because holidays are just stressful for the most part as an adult. The magic is for children. Like, as an adult, it's just stressful.
To provide that magic.
Yeah. Even on the day, if you are lucky enough to be off work, it's still stressful.
We're gonna need the Jaws of Life over here.
All right. Shall we just slide right into Jaws of Life? So I found 2 articles from this week, and the first one being from Entertainment Weekly, another one from TV Line. Both of them are with Tim Minear, so he's saying a lot of similar stuff in each. The interviewers are asking about, some of the storylines, and this being the mid-season finale, you have to like tie some things up, but then also like leave some things hanging and make people like come back for more. So Tim said, I think for a lot of the characters on the show by the middle of the season, Michael notwithstanding, they're sort of coming through a dark patch and into the sunlight a little bit. This does not mean that they won't face any more challenges in the next 8 episodes, but I think what the audience loved and what I loved about the season finale last year for season 2 is that it ended on a very high note. They've gone through so much and it just made them tighter and stronger, and now they know better. So I'll keep throwing bricks at them and making them stronger. So he's like very aware of like the, like the ebbs and flows. So like season 2 ended really high, and then they've been going through like a bit of a, an undercurrent, and then they're coming back up a little bit, and it's just going to continue that wave pattern. And we get a little bit about Maddie being able to finally leave Doug behind, and Tim said that they wanted to make sure that they didn't just ignore or forget about what Maddie has been through. And Maddie trying to fix Tara was destined to fail from the beginning. It was about her realizing that she can't save somebody else and she needs to stop talking about Doug as though he just died. So this episode is really her facing that head on, looking at it in the eye and leaving it in the woods where it belongs and walking away. And then we have a little bit of talk about Bobby and Michael. One of the interviewers asked, why have Michael give Bobby the bad news first? And Tim said, when you have two father figures who have become friends, they have something in common, they love the same people. Michael is the one who couldn't stay married because he was gay, so there's no real acrimony there in terms of the divorce. So he loves that Athena and the kids have Bobby. We've seen that previously, like with Rage and afterwards. Something could have gone terribly wrong in that traffic stop, he said. And Michael was glad to know Bobby was still there for his family in case something happened. And he said it there. And that's also what he's saying at the end of the Christmas episode. So he wanted to explore that some more. And the idea that Michael is entrusting his family to Bobby, this was a way to continue that idea and tell that story a little more deeply. Okay. And then I thought this was an interesting comment from one of the interviews. The interviewer asked, not only has Michael become a more important character, but they've also enjoyed what we've been seeing from the kids. And Tim says that he's definitely finding ways to incorporate the kids into the show a little more. And it was tough in the beginning because Michael and Harry and May aren't first responders. They're family members of the people who do the jobs. And it's been a slow process, but also a natural evolution to bring them more into the foreground to tell their own stories. For May, it started with a tsunami episode, and he really wanted to give Corinne a showcase to show what a terrific actress she's become. There will be more Harry and May moving forward. So I think that's definitely something that has been in their minds like the whole time, especially when we see going into season 5 with May joining Dispatch and everything like that. So just like ways to incorporate them into the stories that is still very organic, even though they may not necessarily at that point be like the first responders themselves. And I thought this was just really funny. This was a really funny one. So from Entertainment Weekly, the interviewer said, the holidays are ahead and fans would surely appreciate one more gift from you. What can you tease about the final 8 episodes of the season? Will Ronda Rousey's Lena come back and become Eddie's love interest at all?
I'm sorry.
Full face. Incredible. I got that. And I was just like, what? When I read that, I was like, that.
Who asked that? Was that the interviewer?
That was from the Entertainment Weekly article. I was just kind of taken aback. I was like, what? And so Tim said, you're going to have to take that up with Twitter. Twitter was not happy with Lena moving on.
Smart man.
Moving in on Eddie. I don't think she was.
I don't think so either.
For Tim, Lena was never intended to be a love interest. She was just somebody that could give him a different point of view on things because she wasn't in the inner circle. But you never know who it might be. And I'm just like, and he doesn't get a love interest in season 3 either.
Well,
besides Buck.
That's what I'm saying. He does.
Anyways, so I just thought you guys needed to hear that specifically.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay, and then for production stuff, there were also a couple pieces in the interviews where Tim was teasing what was going to be coming up next, because again, this episode was the mid-season finale, and I don't think they came back until March. So this episode aired in like the beginning of December, and I think the next one, 3/11, is March 16th. So that's a long hiatus. But I did think it was interesting how much they did know where they were going with this season, which again, I think they plan things out very much ahead of time for the most part. Like they make a plan and then sometimes they throw the plan away. I think season 3 was very succinctly planned. So Tim was teasing about Eddie Begins, which is episode 315. So that's a bit away. And he said, we're going to tell the story of what it was like for Eddie when he first learned of Chris's diagnosis, the difficulties that ended up in the dissolution of his marriage. And also we're going to see how he won that Silver Star in Afghanistan. We think we know that story, but we'll come to learn that it's not as simple as we thought. And then he was also teasing a little bit about the Josh storyline, which we'll see in 312, and which will lead into the taking of Dispatch with 314. And I think both of those were also written by Andrew Myers. I'm fairly certain.
Which ones?
312, which I think is Fools.
Yep.
And 314, which is Taking of Dispatch.
Yep.
So those are both Andrew Myers projects, which I think is really cool.
He co-wrote The Taking of Dispatch with Nadia Basmadin.
Just stuff to keep in mind. Needle drop.
Okay, great. So all of these songs are Christmas songs. There's not a lot to get into here. But they had a couple really funny needle drops, starting with when Michael is coming out of the mall. It's playing Winter Wonderland, where it says walking in a winter wonderland, and then he walks through a glass door. Made me laugh.
And then it looks like it's snowing.
Yes, it's glass. And then we have the Bluetooth lady and that's playing Christmas.
I should have called it that.
I know.
Oh, man.
There were a lot of blue jokes.
Darn it. Sorry, continue. That was really good.
And it's playing Blue Christmas, a song by Kelly Clarkson. So just funny. And then we have,
I was like, why didn't they just play on Blue?
Because it's Christmas.
I know.
So.
I know.
Then we have 2 Christmas songs at the family gathering at the 118 that I'll mention quickly. So like when it first starts and everyone gets there, it's playing What Christmas Means to Me by Stevie Wonder, not the Hanson version, which is my favorite. But it just plays like the first, I want to say like third of that song. And I think it's just very like 118 with their like significant others, but and each other. So it's like, I see your smiling face like I never seen before. Even though I love you madly, it seems I love you more. The little cards you'll give me will touch my heart for sure. All these things and more, darling. That's what Christmas means to me, my love. So it's like, aww. I love you all year, but like this part of the year is special and it just makes me love you even more.
That's so cute.
There's some parts in there about mistletoe.
Oh, interesting.
It's not playing at opportune moments. I checked.
Darn.
I know. Then we have Please Come Home for Christmas, sung by Aaron Neville. I always say sung by with Christmas songs because I don't know who the fuck originally wrote most of these.
Probably someone Jewish. I'm not kidding.
I know.
most of the classic Christmas songs
I know.
are written by Jewish people.
Jewish people love Christmas.
Can confirm.
Anyway, I'm not going to read any lyrics from this song, but it's a song about someone being depressed during Christmas and like begging their significant other to come home. So, and it's playing like while Michael is giving the news about his brain tumor. So I thought it was like poignant for like the like sad vibes of it for that, but also like because he feels so like displaced and out of the nuclear family. Yeah, that's it.
Wow. So cute and also depressing. I don't know if you guys have any parallels or foreshadowing, but there was one more quote from one of the articles, and the interviewer asked, with everything going on with Michael, can we assume Bobby is clear of all cancer danger? And I hate that we're watching this now so much. So, Tim said, I think we can rest pretty easy with Bobby right now. I mean, for me, it was, you never know, but all of his tests have been clear. And from a writerly point of view, for me, it was about kind of the head feint of having you worry about Bobby so that I can hit you with the Michael thing. A head feint is basically just like red herring, right? It had us very worried about Bobby. So then we weren't worried so much about Michael, even though he was having like the actual bad things happen to him. And I think they kind of use this a number of times. I think they also did this a little bit with Shannon's death in season 2, where like the mom who was giving birth, she died, but then she was okay. And then have it like subverted for Shannon and stuff like that. So and they used that again with the Contagion arc. They had that head feint thing. So they had us really worried about Chimney, who has 9 lives. So like, he's fine. And then it was like, oh, so he could hit us with the Bobby thing, and I'm not over it. So just bringing a little more depression into this depressing holiday episode. And then just kind of a little bit of either foreshadowing or parallels, whichever one you choose to take this as. The parent NDEs, right? With like Michael, Bobby, specifically in this episode, Leo and his mom. Like what would happen to the little boy Leo if his mom didn't make it? And to me, that is really kind of like foreshadowing Eddie's NDE coming up very soon in just a few episodes. And especially because the well is like the impetus for Eddie deciding to put Buck in his will. So we're seeing that with Michael and Bobby and Michael being very, glad that the kids have Bobby, and what would happen to a kid if their only parent it can't be around anymore, and then they have to go into the system and all that stuff. So I think that is like very that's tied into like Michael and Bobby, but I think it's also very tied into Eddie as well. So uplifting, guys.
It's so funny because like I keep watching these episodes and going, wow, this is really depressing.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting though, because it's just like it is their best season. So it's like,
and it is the most depressing season consistently.
Yeah.
This is why I had to take that break when I got to season 4 originally.
Oh, and then it was like COVID on top of it.
Yeah, because I was just like, it's too many slices.
So I get it.
All right, so we'll go over some themes very briefly. I think they're going to be fairly obvious. Did you want to do yours first?
Oh, yeah. I don't really know. This is not a concise theme, but sorry about your trauma. Here's some money.
Can you explain that?
And it seems to be a Buckley theme. Specifically this season. Sorry you got kidnapped and almost murdered by your husband. Here's some money. Sorry you got crushed by a ladder truck and abandoned by your family.
Okay.
Here's some money.
I didn't even connect that as like a Buckley thing. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's like neither one of them have any interest in money. Like not even like a little like, oh, like I hate where this came from, but they're trust fund kids. So be so fucking real. The place that Maddie moves into after running away from like all of her belongings and assets and talking about how it's going to be fun to acquire new shit. I'm like, you're a trust fund kid.
That is
because if you were a normal person, you would be taking some of Abby's dishes instead of making jokes about it.
Yeah, they're trust fund kids, but they have absolutely no attachment to money.
No, that's because they're trust fund kids. Yeah. So they're not motivated by money because they've never had to worry about money.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just thought that was like an interesting connection for them both to have.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, hers is only like almost $500,000 only. And then Buck had, like millions and millions. And it was like he wouldn't have to work for life. And we looked that up and it was a substantial amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was mine.
Like 7 figures minimum. Probably would have been more.
Hold on, let me look it up again.
Sorry.
$5 to $10 million in order to retire comfortably in your 30s in LA.
And it was almost definitely more than that. All right. So these are obviously going to have a lot of tie into the holiday season. So just like so much of 911, just in general, where, you have to confront your past traumas that you never really let go of, facing your past traumas head on, right? So like the ghost of Christmases past, if you will, and how like learning how to leave those traumas in the past, like actually in the past, and embrace the present and the theme of the show and let go. Right?
No, I was laughing at present.
I know. Past and present. And then we have finding joy, specifically in the holiday season. So remembering, like you want to remember and honor the things that are worth celebrating. However, we see so much in this episode that like just real life sucks. And you have the stress of everything that's just ruining the holiday spirit. So everything that they've been going through up to this point, has been really heavy stuff. And then kind of just like the less heavy stuff, like just working on Christmas, having to work on the holidays and not be with your family. So that kind of takes the wind out of the sails a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And even the Bluetooth girl, I think her name is it Lorna? I'm not sure we learned that in this episode.
It is Lorna.
Oh, I forgot to mention in parallels that we see Lorna again, the Bluetooth girl, in 817 randomly, also with more tooth injury, which really sucks for her. And it's just like a weird callback. I still haven't quite figured that out, but
I don't understand that callback.
She's
either.
there.
Was it the same writers?
No, it was not Andrew Myers. That was Molly Green and James Leffler, I think. Yeah, that was 817.
A favor for
a favor for Andrew.
A favor for Andrew Myers. Maybe. The only reason I can think about tying that in is because this episode, like, we were so worried about Bobby for so much of it. So like maybe bringing her back in to like think about that, but that's like a really like kind of weirdly roundabout way to do so.
Yeah.
It might have just been funny.
I mean, that's always an option too.
Maybe they just needed like they had the idea of like the dentist and the methane water. And they were like, oh, here's someone who already dealt with like tooth issues way back like 5 years ago. I don't know. Anyways, so back to themes, but like working on Christmas and how that takes the wind out of the sails, and it just kind of sucks. Like even the Bluetooth girl, Lorna, has to work on Christmas, and she's like, what kind of loser has to work on Christmas? Meanwhile, she's looking at the losers who are working on Christmas and helping her. And they're like, we know it sucks. You don't have to remind us. So just like those little things that like kind of defeat the Christmas spirit a little bit. And then another theme that we see very heavily focused on in season 3 is this feeling of displaced, or this feeling of like searching for belonging. And we see that a lot with Michael. Like this has been kind of breadcrumbed for us for a number of episodes, and kind of like in terms of the way that I saw it for Maddie, like a reclaiming of sense of self. So like belonging in the life that she has now, as opposed to like belonging in the past a little bit, or feeling displaced, like she doesn't feel like being there. And displacement also in the way of like, they're not home with their families on Christmas. So they're not where they're supposed to be. Similarly to the trauma stuff is like feeling helpless. We get stuff with Maddie about that. We get some stuff with like some of the, I don't know what else I was going to put in there. Just feeling helpless. That's in there. You can figure that out. Or feeling helpless. Like there's nothing. It's sorry. It's coming back to me now. It's about control. Which is a season theme as well. Sometimes I don't have time to explain things in here, and then I forget why I put it. This is why I have to write notes. It's about loss of control, right? Oh my God. Loss of control and feeling helpless, like you can't do anything, and it's Christmas time, and you can't spend the time with the families. And even like Leo with his mom, he's feeling helpless. He thinks he hurt her, but he saved her. Maddie's feeling helpless. Everybody's feeling helpless. Buck is feeling helpless because he can't do anything for Bobby. Control.
Amazing.
It's just the fact that we're a podcast and we're supposed to break things down for people, and you were like, figure it out.
Our listeners are smart, okay?
They tell us.
I can just point at something and it's like, can you help me out with the fun?
Hey,
like,
you tell us, actually. Do our work for us. Thank you. That's why you tuned in.
And then and then we have and then we have also heavily featured in season 3 parent-child relationships. So you have parents not wanting to disappoint the kids, like the first call with the parents trampling each other and pepper spraying each other trying to get the toys. But you also have kids assuming more responsibility. So in terms of like Leo saving his mom, and Buck, taking on some of the idea of making this whole Christmas party. And so you have like more responsibility in the way of like the kids or the kid figures trying to make the holiday special for the parents. And I mean, we see that with everything in here. And then similarly, what does family look like? Because it doesn't have to be a nuclear family. We're seeing that, especially with Athena and Bobby and the kids and Michael. We're seeing that with Bobby and Buck and the greater 118. You also have Hen and Karen saying that because it doesn't have to be there. It doesn't have to be just like blood family. It's just like the family that you find and the family that you grow organically.
Or do you mean the family that you choose?
That's it. The family you choose.
Also, I rewatched episode 11.
Mm-hmm.
I have been saying that this one scene is at the end of season 3. It's in one of those episodes.
Oh, which one?
Scene where everyone's at Eddie's house.
Oh,
yeah. I think it's in 311 or 312.
Yeah, it sees the day. That's 11.
Okay.
That's why I always mixed it up and thought it was at the
feels
end of
like
season
an end
2.
of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I kept thinking it was at the end of season 2, and it was
Yeah.
not. Yeah, that's all I have for themes. We can move on now.
Okay, so let's jump into
Who's cooking?
the oven. What's cooking? It's not turkey.
It's takeout.
It's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
Listen. I am a big fan of Chinese food on Christmas, also because I am Jewish, and that is a tradition. So I get it. But also, it's in my favorite Christmas movie. Points to anyone who guesses what that is. Crickets.
Who's cooking? All right, so Hen and Karen have a storyline again. We love to see it. We don't love to continue seeing that it's still about their kids. I mean, it's early days, so I guess we weren't tired about it yet,
No.
but it's just like
This
in
was still, like,
retrospect
very
after
much in
season 7 and 8, I'm just like,
This was still like exciting for them.
yeah, yes.
Right?
Well, it's the beginnings. It's the beginnings of their struggle to have another member
Yeah.
of their family.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what happened. We know what happens because this is a rewatch, so we know what happens with Mia, and it's just like, they're so happy,
painful,
though.
actually. And yeah,
It
they
is
were
very-
happy.
Mhm.
I mean, they're happy at the end of the episode, but like, you know, when Hen is over at Eddie's, she's like, yeah, this year has sucked. Like, it has
And
not
it
been great
has.
for any of us, and it has.
It has
No.
like Hen or Karen going through all the IVF stuff, and then, you know, losing all of the embryos, and then like them having to mourn like the realities and the possibilities of that. And then this is still coming right off of Hen and the ambulance crash. And so she's like still reeling from that a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, ooh,
Yeah. My girl was going through it.
yeah, both of them.
But, you know, I do like that even though, you know, stuff has sucked and they're talking about how stuff has sucked, like they're still making the best out of it because they're together and they're having a good time. Hen is trying to leave the call with Leo's mom, and this poor kid is like, why wasn't I allowed to go with her? And of course that like really tugs at her little heartstrings, especially because it's a kid. And, you know, but she can't do anything because you can't just like take a kid home with you.
No, that's
But it
called
starts-
kidnapping.
That it's called kidnapping.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes, I'm sure she went home and told Karen about this. We don't see it, right?
We do see it.
We do?
Yes. When
They're getting the presents out of the attic.
Oh, okay. I don't think I paid attention.
that's why I said telling Karen about Leo's call.
Okay.
Mm.
I was just like, oh, they have so many presents. And like, they're like, oh, I knew that they were talking about like kids being lucky, but like, anyway.
Yeah, I think Hen and Karen really have a very grounded perspective on how lucky they are. And it's really kind of shown how Karen specifically has kind of turned this corner in their like mourning process of losing like the IVF opportunities. And you know, they've gotten all of these gifts for Denny, and just like, wow, this kid is so lucky to have two parents who love him and who are able to be around during Christmas time. And aren't we lucky that we have a kid who loves us? And it's also a nice reminder that, like, because I forget which one of them says it, but like they kind of consider, they're like, I think it's Hen, where would Denny be if they hadn't taken him in? Because again, like Denny's not actually like blood related to either of them.
Yep.
And they just love him so much.
I think she specifically was like, would he have to be spending Christmas
in a
like
group home? Yeah, exactly. So I think they really have like a very like deeply profound perspective on family during holidays, and how, you know, a family doesn't have to look like a nuclear family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like 2.5 kids and a white picket fence and a dog or whatever. And I think they really are aware of that in a beautiful way, in a way that they are not taking anything for granted, especially with everything that's occurred for them in 3A.
Yeah. So I think they both like together but separately came to the conclusion that they wanted to try fostering, and then they, you know, talk about it in front of everyone in the group, which is naturally where you have conversations about expanding your family.
Well, because it's all around family.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of works out. I do love that part as well. Maddie time.
Yeah.
Maddie's going through it still again, continually.
It's like a law that at least one Buckley has to be going through it at all times.
Yes, Buckley's law. If it's not one, it's the other.
Yep. So yeah, we see her receiving this money that she wants nothing to do with because she feels like she murdered Doug. Like she feels guilty for killing him. And she brings up like Slayer's law, how like you can't inherit money if you murdered that person.
Yeah. But wasn't it because it was self-defense that it like...
Yes, exactly. So she didn't murder him. It was self-defense. So she inherits the assets because she was married to him and they're hers legally. And she's like, it feels like blood money and she doesn't want it. Did we ever find out what the fuck she does with this money?
Not in this episode.
I just feel like we don't talk about it.
I feel like maybe we do touch upon it, like maybe in another episode, but
okay.
Yeah, I don't think that's resolved yet, because I think she was more working through
the feelings around it.
Yes.
Than the money itself.
Like that's kind of a secondary situation. Like in order to deal with the money, she has to deal with her feelings about what transpired finally.
And Chimney's with her. I think that's important to note.
Yeah. Like he's there and with her and supporting her, and they just have like great communication, because he also like speaks up for her as well. Like he advocates for her too, and it's a really beautiful relationship that they've fostered, especially with Maddie like trying to truly move past the Doug thing, because I think once she does that, then she can like fully give herself to the life that she's building, especially the relationship that she's building with Chimney. But she can't do that. She can't live in the present until she's until she's killed the monster of
the final boss,
the ghost of Christmas's past, right? Which I think is also
slayed the monster. She already slayed the monster.
I know.
So many times.
But I do think it's kind of fitting though that like we're dealing with Doug in this Christmas episode, because that's when we were introduced to him in the Christmas episode last year. So it's kind of like a lovely parallel mirror for that.
She says
like closing the book.
And she says it in the office. She's like, it's always Christmas.
Yeah. And we know that Maddie like loves Christmas, so it's hard or she loved Christmas like when she and Buck were younger. It's also probably harder for her to deal with all of this because it's surrounding Christmas, but she's still going to therapy with Frank, like voluntarily, and she's talking about how he just like every time she thinks she's done with him, he just like keeps popping back up and haunting her thoughts. And I think Frank asks a really poignant question where he says, like, has she moved past him or just around him? And I think that's like a very subtle thing, but it's still like, it's different. It's not the same thing, especially because she's still like defining herself through Doug in like the present tense. Like he's haunting her. He's popping back up, like all of that, like current tense of it. And he really implores her, Frank really implores her that like it's time for Maddie to live a life that's purely hers, because so much of her adult life has been attached to Doug. And I think she said she was 19 when they met.
Yeah.
And I just think that's really interesting. Like 19 specifically, also a very important age for someone else, kind of Maddie coded. I just pointed out. So Frank tells her that like she can live a life not after Doug, but without him. So like completely removing him from the equation, as opposed to like a before Doug and an after, you know? He proposes exposure therapy to really face things head on in a very literal manner. And they both travel up to Big Bear to retrace Maddie's footsteps, and she sees the cabin, but it's really the woods that are kind of like where it happened, right? Where he truly hurt her. And Maddie does like this whole healing thing, which I think the monologue that she has is really beautiful, and it's all about forgiveness. And she starts by forgiving Doug, which like he doesn't deserve, but she does that more for herself. But then she forgives herself as well, which I think is what was really needed. She says, I forgive myself for loving you too much, for staying too long, and for not dying with him. She's deciding to live, which I think is another beautiful parallel to Fight or Flight from last season, because this is the moment where Maddie decides to live and like literally leave Doug behind. But also in Fight or Flight, when she was literally fighting for her life, and you know, if you remember, like she stabbed him and she like did the thing, and she kind of collapsed, right, and closed her eyes, like she was ready to let go in that sense. But then she made the conscious decision to live and to keep fighting, and which is another one of season 3's themes as well, like to keep on fighting. So she made the decision to live last year, but now she's making the decision to live without Doug. Like she survived him, and she'll never be sorry for that. And I think it's a great, like, if you look at those two things together, like it shows the difference there. Like you can still live, but are you really living? And that's her deciding that.
Michael. Oh, Michael. Dude.
Michael is also going through it, like, this entire season.
I relate to Michael so much, because, like, being depressed and gay.
Oh, man. What a combo.
Yeah. So Michael simultaneously is, like, a husband, father of the year, but also, like, the loneliest boy in the world. We see him like setting up a tree with May and Harry, and he's doing it for Athena, because like this is her holiday and she goes crazy for it. But like she's so worried about Bobby, and like she's out with him because he's getting one of his regularly scheduled tests to see if he's gonna become the Hulk.
Radioactive.
I was like, am I making a Hulk or an Imagine Dragons joke? I had to decide. I'm glad we have both. So yeah, so he's having a great time. He's like, oh, like, who's going to make the popcorn? And then he sees like an ornament that's like an old family photo of the four of them before he didn't live there anymore. And he just kind of like is triggered. And we've seen that a couple of times this season where It's just like he feels very much like outside of the dynamic and lonely, even though like he is still very much involved, but it's always inherently going to be different when you don't live in the house. Like, you're still co-parenting, but like you don't live in the house and there's another co-parent added in the mix. So like
he
it's
feels
just different.
Very much like he's looking in from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, he's been displaced. Like he's been, I don't know that maybe a little bit, he feels like he's been replaced. I think he logically knows that's not what's happening, but that's still kind of how it feels like. And even though, both Athena and Bobby have done so much to reassure him, like, you're part of this family too. This is still your house. Like we're all together.
But he has, on a level, like been literally replaced because he doesn't live in the house anymore, and Bobby does. So like he has been to some extent of like what his previous role was. So he runs away because he's like, I don't want to talk about it, and he's trying to like deal with his emotions and not make it other people's problems. Again, relatable.
Yeah. He's also really just like shying away from leaning on everybody. And we know so much of this season, like 911 in general, is about support systems.
Yeah.
And you have to lean on people. And he's not doing that at all, which is further isolating himself. So it's just like
exacerbating that feeling.
Yeah. It's this constant cycle of him feeling out of place, but also like not stepping into, like their welcome arms.
It's that like self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing where it's like you're feeling a type of way, so you pull away and then you make it worse for yourself. So relatable.
I do that.
Yeah, it's so relatable. It's not a great thing to do. Like, just don't do it.
Easier said than done, though.
Yeah. It's hard when you just feel like a certain type of way. You're like, maybe it's best if I do remove myself out of a situation. Maybe I'm like, it's like under the guise of like trying to regulate.
Yeah.
But it's actually not.
Yeah. Cause I think sometimes I do for mine and other people's benefit, where it's like, we have regular weekly hangouts. And if I'm really feeling so dysregulated that I think I'm going to be like snippy or just like, that it's not going to help me, and I might just like bring everyone else down, I'm like, I'm just going to like take time to myself tonight. But if that's something that I just continue to keep doing, then that's going to make that worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
So
I do that where I'm like, if I'm feeling bleh, and I don't want to be around anybody, which is when something's
wrong with you.
Yeah.
But then if like I kind of drag my feet and like interact with somebody in any kind of way, honestly, then I just feel so much better about it. But it's like that warring within yourself of, doing the thing that is kind of going to make you feel better in the long run, or wallowing in isolation a little bit. And when you're in that feeling, you want to stay wallowing, but you need someone to kind of like drag you back out,
pull you out, and like hold a mirror of reality up to you. It's like, I know your brain worms have been telling you that everyone hates you, but that's stupid. Stop it.
But that's not true.
Yeah.
Stop
it. So he does get that. He does get that.
I don't think he's willing to hear it yet.
No, I think he heard it and listened to some extent, but I still don't think he's really feeling it.
Yeah.
But I think it was still good that he talked to Athena about it and like got that reassurance. And like, just, I love their family dynamic. And like how far they've come, and that their communication, and like how much they still love and support each other, not just the kids, but each other, is like so beautiful. And, because I think we get a lot more of like Bobby and Michael lately than we do like Athena and Michael, as far as like bigger, deeper, more meaningful conversations. So I love when we still get to see, how much they still care about each other.
Yeah, I think also because like they have to establish the Michael and Bobby stuff more, because we already know like Athena and Michael, they have such a deep love for each other, even though it's like more platonic now, that like you don't have to do as much in the story for that. So like just the little things for them where Athena comes in and Michael's about to head out. He's like, love you, and like they still are very effusive with their care for each other. But I do love that they are building up the Michael and Bobby friendship so much, especially when they had come to blows last season, and like they're really working on making their non-nuclear family like a cohesive unit. Like it feels so real to me.
I miss it.
Me too.
Miss them so much. I was just thinking while I was watching this episode, I was like, bring Michael back. I don't care if you have to recast him.
He can have a different face.
I really don't care. I miss the dynamic. And it's like,
what dynamic now? Bobby's dead.
Yeah, but
God,
like Athena,
I forgot for a moment.
I'm talking about like Athena.
Oh, yeah. She's going to
need someone.
In reality, it would make sense for him to like, taking away the fiction of it all. But like, if these were real people, I think it would make sense for him to move back.
To be someone that she could lean on.
Yeah.
In that way.
Because it's not only her, it's also the kids too.
The kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've lost a father figure.
Yeah.
Luckily, they still have one off screen.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wow.
So I think that is where like Michael, like before Athena shows up, that he does find out that he has a tumor.
Yeah, at the hospital?
Yeah, at the hospital. Yeah, right. But he lies about it.
Yeah.
He does. Because he says later, like they did scans and they found the tumor. And so I think you can kind of see, especially on rewatch, like he does look shaken up. I mean, you could assume that's because of the whole like walking through the glass door incident, but I think he's really trying to like tamp stuff down and like assure Athena like it's nothing. It's fine. I'll get it checked out later. Meanwhile, he's like processing something life-changing, but he's doing it on his own.
Yeah.
Even though Athena is right there in front of him saying, you don't have to do this on your own. I'm worried about you.
It reminds me of someone.
I wonder who this could be. Wow. And I think it also like it's at this point where he kind of admits one of the other things that's been plaguing him, where it's his first Christmas alone because he doesn't have.
He's not dating anyone.
Yeah. Because
Thank you. I could not remember his name. It's like whatever the dude's name was.
Yeah, I think it was Glenn.
Like 3 times.
Because last year he had Glenn, so he wasn't actually like alone during Christmas. But this is the first year where he doesn't have a partner like at all.
Yeah,
because every year before them was
alone,
Athena.
Literally.
Yeah. And so like he does admit that. So there's like a little bit of a give there. And Athena consoles him like he's not alone. He has friends and family who love him. She includes all of them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel that way for him.
Yeah. And I know I skipped it just because of the natural progression of what I was saying. He was having trouble sleeping and taking meds. And, I guess like his brain was feeling lonely and missing home. And so he sleep drove.
Which is terrifying.
That's terrifying.
Crazy.
And crawled into bed with Athena, and she's horrified.
almost like a muscle memory.
Yeah.
Type of thing, right?
Yeah. And, it's kind of funny until like he wakes up and he's just like,
what the hell?
I don't know. Like the emotion is just like, he again looks like he wants to run away and he's trying to give his key back because he's like, to prevent me from doing this again. But I think it's, we know it's more than that. It's him being like, I don't belong here anymore. Like this isn't my house.
Because there's like regular old embarrassment about it, which like you could laugh off, right? Like that's fine. That it happens. It doesn't happen often, but I'm sure it happens. But the way he like internalizes that embarrassment, he's placed himself back into somewhere where he feel like he doesn't fit anymore, just because it's what was like he's been used to, and again, kind of like a muscle memory. And I think that's what really like spooks him, that it was so easy for him to fall back into that kind of habitual, like coming back home to the house that he built with the family that he made.
And driving home that feeling that he already was having of like, I don't belong here anymore and I am alone.
He really came face to face with that in like a very vulnerable and embarrassing way. And it's just exacerbated by the fact that I think he was being very nostalgic because this is his first Christmas alone. He saw that ornament and it made him think back on all of the Christmases that they'd spent together. So like all of this is happening at once. Like his head must be so exhausting to walk through right now. Also because of the brain tumor, like just so full of not great stuff,
including
cancer.
Oh my God. Anyway, I guess transitioning. Speaking of cancer, Bobby is like sitting at the table with Athena and Buck, and it's a cute moment, but he looks up and he sees Michael looking, you know, he's standing in a room full of crowd of people looking sad.
Yeah. He's like surrounded by all of his family.
Yeah. But he's off by himself, just like looking depressed. So he walks over there to like have a quintessential like Bobby and Michael chat. And he tries to, again, just like brush it off and be like, yeah, I'm fine. And Bobby's like,
he was
okay.
Not fine.
Be so for real right now. And he does get Michael to open up because was Bobby's superpower.
I'll say it about. Listen, when we're doing the rewatches, it is current events, okay? Okay? I'm nixing all past tense on Bobby speak when we're doing the rewatches. He is alive and well.
Okay.
In my mind,
no.
When we're doing these rewatches.
Okay, anyway, that's his superpower for now.
He's dead. Deal with it.
I'm not Bobby alive maxing. I know. Saying it's.
You're like, Bobby is dead, talking, denying. You just don't want to talk about it. You're still in the denial phase.
I'm not in the. Anyways.
You're in the denial phase of like, you don't want to talk about it. You're like, if I don't talk about it, it's not real.
Oh,
it can't hurt me.
I can still talk about it.
Anyway, just to wrap up, Michael, in this conversation, like he opens up and you know, tells Bobby about the tumor, but then he like begs him not to tell anyone. He's like, let me just have like this Christmas to be like normal and enjoy it before, you know, I tell everyone.
Yeah. And that's a lot to put on Bobby as well. Like
it is, but like also what was he gonna do? Like walk out there and be like, tell everyone right now at this Christmas party that you have a brain tumor. Like,
and Bobby would never. But I think there's also like this aspect of that we see kind of throughout like multiple seasons of 911 where like, you know, this aspect of like secret keeping a little bit and having that like burden being placed upon you. I mean, I guess that's just like storytelling and TV in general is like that creates drama, blah, blah, blah. But there's something specifically with 911 about that as well. And I don't think like it stays secret for that long because I think doesn't it come out with like Seize the Day or something? But yeah, it's Michael watching from the outside and then he finally lets Bobby in. And I do really love that because like and I think that's one of the reasons why he tells Bobby as opposed to Athena, because Athena would go into like fix it mode. Also like someone else we know. But Bobby is more of a just kind of like an ear to listen and a shoulder to lean on, right? He doesn't have to fix it right now. He just is I'm gonna say he's holding space with Michael. And like even a little later, like when they take the picture all together, like Bobby kind of like supports Michael and kind of gives him a look of understanding, like they're in this together a little bit. Like Michael really is part of the family and like assuring him of that, which is nice.
So Bobby is really about like other people in this episode, and not much about Bobby, but there is this really cute scene with him and Athena in bed, and he gets the final results back from his final test, and he's all clear, and he's not radioactive, and he's not the Hulk, which I guess happy in this moment, sad for us 5 seasons later,
because he could have been indestructible. Okay,
he could have. And it's just like a really good moment between them where she's like, I feel like I can finally breathe, like I can enjoy the holiday finally.
Yeah, like a weight has been lifted off of her.
Yeah,
and Bobby, I'm sure.
Yeah, and she was like, oh, some good news, like it's finally making it feel like more in the spirit of the holidays. And he's, oh my god, he's so corny and romantic and cute. And it's like,
I know.
He's like, Christmas Eve is more important to me because it's the day that you said yes. And it's so cute.
It is really cute.
I love them. I miss them. I hate that they're gone.
Me too. And then it's spicy. And then she's like, you have 5 hours before your alarm goes off. Let's see what else I'll say yes to. And then they turn the lights off and it fades to black.
It's
very
so
cutesy.
It's so cute. And I think it is like a nice little reminder with like the whole like Michael saying it's his first Christmas alone. But at the beginning of the episode, Michael reminds us that it's Bobby's first Christmas with his new family. And technically it's like the second, but like officially, right?
Yeah.
As a married couple, living in the house.
Because he wasn't living there.
Yeah. So
because he wouldn't live with her until they were married.
So cute.
Because sin.
Oh, Catholic Bobby. Pick and choose.
Sex before marriage, fine. Living together, that's crossing the line.
Oh no. Yeah, so it's like a nice reminder that like this is still new for them as well. And like they can make so many more memories. And now I'm gonna make myself sad. Let's move on.
Anyway, it's time to dissect a Christmas party.
Hey! Where's the fire?
Actually about to make myself really sad.
Stop that.
There's no crying in baseball, Rachel.
Yeah, what she said.
Have you met me? I've cried during so many baseball games.
My God.
It's also
it's
on
the
brand.
most sentimental sport, okay? Have you seen those videos?
Have you seen like soccer?
I was like,
I don't think grown men cry.
Soccer's emotional. I think baseball is the most sentimental.
Oh.
Soccer is very emotional. Baseball's the most sentimental.
Yeah, anyway, this is not about baseball. This is about Christmas.
How did we get here?
Because I said there's no crying in baseball.
Because I was getting emotional over Bobby.
Yep. Bobby.
There was a moment in the episode where I think Michael says his name, and I was like, oh, he's saying it like how I would say, like Bobby. Like, it was like very. I was like, oh, there you are.
Yeah, there you are, Bobby.
Anyway, Christmas party. Jesus,
it's his birthday.
Oh, it's actually not.
I know.
Whose birthday?
It's in April.
Yeah.
Which is ironic.
Jesus' birthday. That's what Christmas is supposed to be about, right? Because it's the nativity. It's Jesus' birth
of Jesus.
Yes.
It actually didn't happen in December.
It did not.
But you know what happened in December? The pagan holidays for the winter solstice. So let's move Jesus' birthday and put it over here.
Anyway, let's talk about this Christmas party, Jesus.
Speaking of the holiday magic.
Oh my God. So they're coming back from a call, and Bobby is like directing them to back up the fire engine. And I'm like, does he do this every time, actually? Because I think it's the only time we see him do it.
One of them does it. They have to.
Yeah. But anyway, he's like, you're good. And then Athena's like, yeah, you are.
Mom and Dad. The PDA at the workplace.
So Athena's on the balcony being like,
yeah. And she's like, I heard you were going to order takeout. And very judgmentally was like, yeah, no, that's not happening.
She's like, we came to save you.
Yeah. So they don't see everyone is there, but she said we, and Eddie's like, did she say we? And everyone's running up the stairs, and Bucks all smiles because like he did
a part
this,
of
so
it.
he knows exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And they get up there, and everyone's there, like all of their families, and then an entire foster home, group home.
Yeah.
So many people.
Yeah.
Or we find out pretty early that like it was Buck's idea.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'd seen it kind of breadcrumbed a little bit when Buck was on the phone with Maddie when she was on the road to Big Bear, and he was like, you really don't mind like calling Athena about this? And she was like, no, it's fine. So I think this really was like Buck's brainchild. But Athena really helped make it happen.
Yeah.
And Karen helped.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, everybody. All of the spouses helped.
Yes. Anyway, so Buck walks over to Hen and Karen, and they thank him. And he's like, well, you inspired me, and I figured we should all get to immerse ourselves in the magic of Christmas. And they're like, this is a great surprise. Then they have their whole conversation. Hen and Karen, which we already talked about. So I don't know how much we would talk about.
Well, we can talk a little bit more of how like Karen took it upon herself to like make it even more of a surprise because she was so touched by what Hen was telling her about Leo, and Karen took it upon herself. And I think you saw when they were having that initial conversation when they were taking the presents down from the attic that like Karen was feeling like very empathetic to Leo's situation. So Karen being Karen, girl who gets stuff done, she talked to the social worker and was trying to get Leo to come to the fire station. I think for Hen as well, like a present for Hen, because she saw how touched Hen was by that whole call. And it just turned out that like, why not bring all of the kids over who are less fortunate and just like doing this mitzvah, right? This like good deed. Wow, this episode is so Jewish. It's always the Christmas episodes. Like
they were gonna get Chinese.
I know. So Karen's doing this like really beautiful thing of like, let's just bring all the kids from the group home over here and give them a Christmas that they would not otherwise have. And it's such a beautiful thing. I think that really speaks to both Hen and Karen's generosity, especially when Hen is being very delicate and considerate of Karen when Hen is like, this sounds a little crazy with everything that they've just been through. And and I think Hen was approaching this idea very gently because they're still a little raw from all of the IVF stuff and Karen's depression and everything like that. But the fact that like Hen brought it up so gently to Karen, like maybe we should think about like fostering, and Karen was like, I already got it covered. We've got an appointment already, like after Christmas, is one of the best things about them too, that they are, when they're on the same page and when they communicate, they are so good and they anticipate the others, like not even just needs, but like wants as well. And I think that really shows some growth for Karen too, because she went through, she took all of the IVF stuff so hard that for her to come out of it and really look at things in a positive light, like what good can they do for other kids and help ones who aren't as lucky as Denny is. I think that really just like, that idea like nestled itself in both of their heads at like the same time. And it's creating like this beautiful opportunity. Unfortunately, it takes a while to get there, but
5 years later.
So yeah, then it can be assumed that Karen and Maddie worked together to coordinate getting Leo's mom there to the firehouse as well, so that they could spend Christmas together. So it wasn't just having, Leo there with them and with Karen. It was about getting, mother and son back together.
Reunited.
Yeah.
So like we see Maddie show up with her and apologize for being late and like, hospitals and red tape, which I thought was cute. And then we have like a little moment between, what is his mom's name?
Whose mom?
Leo's mom.
I don't know.
Anyway, Leo's mom and Chimney, where she's, thanking him for being one of the paramedics that saved her. And like Chimney looks really touched. And I think he's thinking about like his mom. That's kind of what I got from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because like even the stuff with like Hen and Chimney and like the kids are like very often kind of like commingled, right? Because we saw that with the brothers in the car that was like hanging over the cliff. Like it worked for both to kind of like bring up some of those memories for Chimney as well. And
it's also kind of planting the seeds because like I think it's 2 episodes from now that Albert shows up.
yeah.
And then you find out more backstory about like his mom.
So they're really like laying some subtle groundwork there for Chimney, and we know stuff about like his dad, but like his parental
stuff.
Choose different word. You can do that. Choose my word. Audience participation.
Yeah. So then we get to see Leo and his mom reunite, and it's very sweet and very touching,
heartwarming.
And then we see Maddie, tell Chim how it went at Big Bear with Frank, and
she does say that she feels free.
Yeah.
She feels free finally. And they have like a little moment with each other, and they do their classic Maddie spin.
Yeah.
Which is
cute. So cute. And I think it's just like that's.
Yeah, I guess that is a callback to what she says to Tara.
Yeah.
Yeah. About like, I killed somebody I used to love. I'll never be free from that.
And now she finally feels free. So I really think that was like the growth that she was kind of like looking for, or that closure that she didn't realize that she needed. And especially to be so upfront and open about it with Chimney as well. Like they really are, he is really being there for her, especially after she was closing him out with the Tara thing. And like there's a lot of real effort on her part to keep him in the loop, which is very sweet. And just like their spin is so cute, and it's like one of their quintessential like couple things, which I think is adorable.
Okay, then I think it's Athena.
Yeah.
And Buck. Yes. Okay. So Buck walks over with his little, I think it's like one of the most popular gifts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Of
like
him
his
just
cheesy
like with his
little
weird
grin.
Yeah, his cheesy grin, and like I don't know what the fuck he's doing with his hands. But he's adorable, and he's very pleased with himself and what they did for everyone.
He should be pleased.
He should.
Yeah, he should.
And she's like, Buck, thanks for helping me with this. I think your New Year's resolution should be to use that head for good instead of evil.
Yeah, well, the thing too is Athena, who I think is sitting on Bobby's lap, by the way, which is super cute, super adorable. I love that for them. But Bobby was thanking Athena for putting this all together, and Athena was like, Santa's gotta help her.
Yeah,
and I think Bobby was kind of like,
she says Santa isn't the only one who has elves.
Yeah. He is impish at times, right? But I think Bobby was like kind of prized, impressed, and grateful too.
Yeah.
And it was really cute because it was like a little family moment for them, because like that's Buck and that's his mom and dad, right? He was doing something nice for his mom and dad. Well, for his dad, and he got mom roped into it to help it.
I was like, this is for Eddie and Chris, but yes, also everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's mutually beneficial for everybody, but like that's how
the impetus for that was Chris being like, "Can I spend Christmas with you?" And then he was like, "I have to fix this immediately," and then spiraled from there.
Fix it, Buckley.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And there's one line that I forgot to say when Hen and Karen were talking to each other, and they were saying like there's more than one way to have a family. And I think that's like the thesis of the episode, right?
Yeah.
Because we see all of these different like familial groupings that are not necessarily like blood family, but it's the family that you choose. And all of the 118 has chosen each other, even like the extended aspects of it.
Yeah.
And they all come together and it's beautiful and heartwarming. And
they take a family photo at the end. It's all very cute. And we don't have to talk about the depressing Michael and Bobby stuff because we already did.
Yeah.
I love that for us.
And all of the Buck and Eddie stuff is going under Slover.
Obviously. Okay, so just a couple things on our boy Buck. He's very worried about Bobby. I think he's already low key about like worried before the nosebleed happens. I think he's just been keeping like an eagle eye out for any of those symptoms. Like he definitely did what Athena was doing at the end of the episode, like how it ended with her just like Googling. Like he was doing the same thing.
He went full Buckopedia and just like, are you experiencing this? Are you like the laundry list of symptoms that he specifically is like that I can't see, that I'm not aware of. Like asking Bobby to be very honest with him because, you know, there's stuff going on that Buck doesn't see, that Buck's not privy to. And like Bobby through this whole episode is just constantly like telling everyone like it's okay. It's fine. He's consoling everyone. It's fine, he says. Not like Ross, but he actually thinks it's fine. We don't really get a lot of like Bobby mental insight in this episode, but like it seems like he's really thinks things are going to be okay.
I think he's stressed out more for everyone else worrying.
Yeah.
Than he is worrying for himself because I think he does just feel fine. So he's feeling more anxious for everyone feeling anxious
about him.
For him. Yeah. So
who else does that sound like?
So interesting.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So Bobby's nose starts bleeding and Buck freaks out.
Understandably.
And he's like, it's just a nosebleed. Like they're talking back at the station afterwards. He's like, it's just a nosebleed. Like it could have been the Santa Anas. It could have been allergies. It could have been whatever.
Everyone's just blaming the Santa Anas over here. Like
I know.
Yeah, I want to point that out because like wasn't it just the other episode that Buck was like, maybe it's the Santa Anas. And it's just like it's just one of those things that's so funny because it's like father like son in that way. Just like when Buck was worried about Eddie and being like, yeah, he's acting weird. Maybe it's the Santa Anas. And Bobby's like, maybe it's the Santa Anas. It's just like, you guys are so stupid in like the most loving way.
Yeah. So Buck is like grilling him. He's like, was this your first nosebleed? Have your gums been bleeding? Do you have a rash anywhere I can't see? And then he's like, what are you doing? Are you diagnosing me? Because like Buck is the least qualified person there to be diagnosing anyone. And he's like, I haven't noticed any shortness of breath or bruising, but you could be hiding symptoms like a headache, dizziness, irregular heartbeat. Are you? This is an interrogation.
It really is. And I think that kind of like is meant to go towards like Michael hiding some of these symptoms from Athena and Bobby and the kids. But it's like, you know, it's making us think about, like, is there something going on that we don't see?
He's like, I'm not hiding any symptoms of whatever it is you think I have. And he's like, you were in the tunnel. Buck says you were in the tunnel too long. That much exposure to radiation can cause aplastic anemia. Did you know that's what killed Marie Curie?
Oh my God.
And Bobby's like, no, I did not know that. I also did not know that you knew who Madame Marie Curie was. He's like, well, I had to look her up, but she was a really smart lady.
She was a really smart lady. just
and
another
she still
one of those...
died from too much exposure to radiation.
I
love you
so much.
I love it so bad.
I had to look her up, but she was a really smart lady. That's just one of those Buckisms.
Yeah.
Yep.
Earworm. And
really smart lady.
It's really cute because you see how he goes on to like these deep dives and just
he was like, oh, who is that? Oh, she's so cool.
Oh, she died of radiation.
She was so smart, but she still died from this. So like,
but also like a little sad that like Bobby is kind of jokingly disparaging about Buck being like, I didn't know you knew who you.
They all do it.
I know they do. They do. But like
Eddie does it the least, honestly.
Yeah, but like Buck is a student of life. He gleans information from wherever he can, like something he finds interesting or pertinent to you know, someone he loves. But it's really sweet because he's so concerned.
Yeah. And Bobby says, like, I appreciate your concern, but I am fine. So please stop with the internet research. And then he's like, here's our real problem, and starts talking about Christmas dinner. Trying to change the subject and get Buck's mind off of it. And it turns out, like, Bobby does not want to prepare dinner. So he says, like, I am just not up for cooking Christmas dinner this year. And then Buck's like, fatigue, also a symptom. Come here. And, like, puts his hands on his forehead like a mother. Their kid.
It's so endearing.
I know. And he's like, Buck, listen, I know you're worried, but there is nothing to worry about yet. And then, so as my grandmother always used to say, don't go borrowing trouble. And then Buck says a line that is so depressing now.
Stop that.
So depressing.
Just
now.
say the line.
Bobby, I know I do dumb things sometimes and generally drive you crazy. But you're an important person in my life, Bobby, one of the most important. And I don't know what I would do if anything were to happen to you.
Yeah, I'm fine.
No. Just no. Oh no.
And like, I think that scene ends on Bobby's face and his reaction to that. I think he's like really touched, but he's just like, I don't think he realized how important he was to Buck, actually.
No.
Buck, actually. Sorry.
Thank you for getting some levity in there. No, because I'm actually like crying.
Yeah. I don't think he realized. I think that really, drove it home for him. Like, I think he knew that like they have this father-son dynamic, and that like that Buck is really important to him. Like, that's been the theme all season of Bobby doing stupid ass things, making terrible decisions because he cares about Buck so much. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder how that felt for him to realize that, because like I know he's been ingrained so deeply already into, May and Harry's life, but like those are his stepkids. So it's different because like it's kind of almost like a Michael situation. Like I feel like there's some parallels there, right? Where like Bobby does feel like it is his place now to parent and care about May and Harry the way he does, but he doesn't feel like it's his place with Buck. Like he feels out of place, if that makes sense.
I feel like so like there's territory that I don't want, like whatever I'm about to say, like I don't want to like expand too much on it, because it's going to go into that whole like that shift that we see with like season 7 and 8 and like the family dynamics and all, or just like the overall like found family dynamics of it all. I feel like these earlier seasons, I feel like they'd have established that. I mean, like the father-son thing, especially because like I feel like if you look at episodes 301 through 310, like as a whole, like I feel like it is kind of bookend, because like in 301 there's that whole situation of Bobby like having to actively care for Buck, but in the most like not direct way. He's doing it in like that that way that we're all like, why did you do this? Why couldn't you just talk to him, kind of thing? And then now we've like flipped it, like the roles are reversed, which is why I also say like I feel like this episode's so like it does kind of wrap up these storylines that they introduced in 3A. So it's like kind of bookend. Now it's like Buck showing how much that he how much he cares for Bobby, and how like that is one of his most important people. I just think narratively, like I feel like they are trying to showcase that still in this like era of 911, and then like whatever the fuck happened over there in those future seasons.
It really is showing like you're totally right. Like it's been established how deeply Bobby cares for Buck, even though he showed it in ways that like weren't super productive or good or anything like that. And this is really turning the roles being reversed. Again, we're seeing those like parent-child relationships and the kids who are taking on a lot of responsibility and taking care of the parents as well. So it's really like instilling that with Buck and Bobby, and it really shows like how reciprocal their relationship is, right? And they're caring for each other in the ways that are kind of like best for them, but not necessarily always like the best for each other, if that makes sense. Like Buck is caring about Bobby the way Buck cares. I said that so many times. But yeah, I think it really does hit Bobby, like because Bobby never really said anything quite this direct to Buck.
No. And
after the whole lawsuit thing.
No. And that won't come into play until like lightning strike, I would say.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it goes unsaid. It's like it's through actions more than words, but I think occasionally you do need to have the words. And at this point, I think that shows something like very mature in Buck as well, to tell someone how much they mean to you in your life and that you're concerned for them. And that's why you're acting in this way. And which is what Bobby was doing, but he wasn't quite like mature enough to say it quite like that.
And I think it's such a big thing for Buck to do, because like as much as like Buck and Bobby are similar in this way where they really show that they care.
Yeah.
Instead of saying it.
Yes.
And for Buck specifically, I think that's a hang up he has about like if I tell people how much I care, they're gonna think that I'm needy and like leave me.
Or then they're gonna leave.
Yeah. So I think it says a lot that, you know, he feels secure enough in their dynamic, especially after everything they just went through, to like to voice this, and because he's that worried that he feels the need to voice it.
I think there's also something to be said for that Buck is more of an action kind of person, because him being active and doing something got him attention when he was younger, as opposed to words. So when he says something like that, it really comes from the heart, because he knows that like that in this case that speaks more than actions for him.
I also think maybe it does, and this will be, I guess this will be my last thing so we can move on.
Yeah.
I think it does show that he was willing to say that and put himself out there. It does show a little bit, I think, a glimpse into that he knew that saying that would get Bobby to take it seriously. So I think that he knows, at least on some level, that Bobby does see him as his kid. That he cares about him on a different level than he does the rest of the 118. Yeah.
Buck is acknowledging the fact that he knows that he is Bobby's kid in a way that like Bobby doesn't really fully acknowledge that at times, even though other people do for him.
That is a very recognized pattern, because like Athena clocks that, May clocks that. So
and the two of people also closest to Bobby.
All right.
Makes me mad and I want more from Let's talk about Eddie.
Anyway, let's talk about Eddie a little bit, because like most of this stuff is gay. So we only get really one scene focused on Eddie, and it's him sitting at his dining room table with Hen, and the scene just like cold opens in the middle of a conversation he's having with her. And he says, "It got ugly after I said I had to work on Christmas. He went straight to his room and wouldn't speak to me."
Oh no.
What does that remind you?
It's like, I gotta bring in the big guns.
Oh yeah,
literally.
Guns.
I gotta smooth this over by bringing in Buck.
So interesting. What does that also remind you of?
710.
So interesting. But he also brought in one of his friends.
Yeah.
You know, because he's young and he's like, oh, I can give him toys and Buck and like it'll be better.
And gingerbread houses and keep them occupied for a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, he locked himself in his room and wouldn't speak him to the rest of the night.
He's like, 8 years old.
He's 8 years old. So he was really upset. And Hen's like, it's just new. He'll get over it. And he's like, well, Abuela's bringing him to my aunt's. I know he's going to have a great time. It's just like last Christmas was special. This one's harder. Last one was magical, right? Because he wished for his mom to come back, and she did.
And now
there's no magic this Christmas, because not only is his mom gone, he can't even spend it with his dad or his Buck.
That is actually so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because like how much has changed in that year for Christopher, for Eddie. And I know we talk about like everybody's been having a rough go of it for season 3. It is so hard for Eddie and Christopher. Because there's been so many changes, like monumental shifts in their like everyday life. And it's just like, and Christmas was already a special time for Christopher. With the episode from last season, that was almost like solely about, not solely, but that was so heavily about Eddie and Christopher and making Christmas magical for Christopher and bringing Shannon back into the picture, which was huge. And that's kind of all been swept away with the tide. Ooh.
No.
The tide of time.
Anyway, anything else to say about that scene that isn't gay? Because
I mean, I really love how we get Eddie and Hen
need more of that
in each other like that. I love that combo. I think that's really lovely, and we do need more of that.
And she has to be the new confidant because he needs someone who's going to, I keep saying this joke, I can't stop, who's going to give it to him straight, because yeah, he can't take like low-key roundabout advice. He'll do it in the worst way possible. He doesn't understand. You've got to be so direct and literal with him.
And Hen can be direct in giving that kind of advice.
She can. She is most of the time.
Yeah. So we need more of that, please.
I just want to talk about some parallels I wish existed.
Oh, yes.
Walk with me.
That's interesting.
So
we're walking.
So it's parallels that should exist. Like narratively, it would make sense because there's a lot of Eddie and Maddie parallels, right? This episode for Maddie is so huge because she's moving on from the like biggest trauma that haunts her, right? She addresses it in therapy. She goes and addresses the last place that she saw him.
I'm walking with you.
And so I just want to read these lines that Frank says. Maddie says, I think that I've moved past him, and then something happens and he's right back in my life, in my head again. And Frank says, have you moved past him or just around him? You've made a lot of progress, but on some level, it feels like you're still defining yourself through Doug. Eddie is doing the same exact thing with Shannon.
You can transpose that.
Maddie,
exactly.
Like, because these traumas both happened to them the same season, right? And around the same time frame. Maddie dealt with hers the next year. It is now 5 years later, and Eddie still hasn't addressed his. He still keeps having these like triggers about everything with Shannon, not just her death, but like the guilt he has over everything that happened while she was still alive in their relationship. He's never dealt with it. So like he keeps thinking he's moved past it, but he is literally just moving around it, not addressing it. And I don't think this is why I was so hoping that the Vertigo arc was going to do what we thought it was going to do, because it would have done this. He would have had to address it. Like whether he went to her gravesite or went to where her accident was, or I don't know, while he was in El Paso, went to the lake that they had their first date at, or did some sort of thing where like the root trauma was, or the house that they had together. Like there was just so many options they could have done to like
that Maddie found.
Find that closure. He needs to have that kind of conversation with her that Maddie had with Doug. I'm not comparing their relationships, obviously, because one of them was an abusive asshole and the other one was, just a normal person who made mistakes and died too young and tragically. And there was no closure there for anyone.
And like the way Maddie goes to Big Bear and forgives herself.
Yes.
That's what Eddie needs to do to fully let go of that guilt, is to forgive himself of everything.
Yeah, because like I just listened to this whole dialogue because you triggered this in me when you said the 19 thing back in the Maddie section. Because she says, when I was 19 when we met, so most of my adult life, he was my life. And then Frank's like, now isn't it time for you? I mean, a life that's purely and only Maddie's. Eddie has never lived his life for him. So it's not just Shannon, it's Shannon and Chris. Like his life was her, and it's always been Chris since Chris was born, but his life is still her, even though she's gone. It's the guilt about her. It's the trying to find someone to replace her or Christopher. Like, it's the same thing.
And then it's the guilt about the Kim situation. So much of all of that, all encompassing, is because he hasn't absolved himself of the guilt, and he's deprived himself and punishing himself because he can't let go of the guilt of any of it. And that precedes, like, even before Shannon died. It's that same thing that Eddie was talking about when he had that conversation with Bobby. Was it in the past episode or 8? I forget if it was in 8 or 9. But that conversation that Eddie has with Bobby about, like, being angry at himself for being angry at a dead person, and that's embroiled in all of that guilt, and he has not been able to let that go.
So, like, you could tweak just a couple words in this speech that she does.
Barely
any.
Yeah.
For it to apply to him and be huge.
It's
just
you're
like, give
right.
It to us.
All of Eddie's adult life has been revolving around his responsibilities.
Yeah.
To Shannon, to Christopher. And even before that, his adult life, he was, like, taking care of his sisters.
I didn't mean the Frank conversation. That you don't have to tweak anything other than the name Doug.
Oh no, I'm talking about
monologue in Big Bear.
Yeah. I was switching in between both.
That's okay.
But yeah, both of those you barely have to tweak.
Yeah, because it's like he needs to forgive Shannon and he needs to forgive himself. Because it's like she had to forgive herself for loving him too much. He needs to forgive himself for not loving her enough.
Yes. And not in the way that
she needed
and he wanted.
Yep. And hers is for staying too long, and his is for not being there. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. And for not dying right next to you. So it'd be like probably like for dying instead of you. For not dying instead of you.
Yeah.
And she's like, today I'm going to leave you here and I'm going to run out of these woods and I'm going to live.
When has Eddie really truly lived, except for some fleeting moments here and there?
He hasn't.
Where he's, like, let go. Namely, like, the bachelor party and the risky business dance. And that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And the poker date, I guess. That's it.
You know, it's like the parallels are there because they're so closely paralleled. And, like, these words all just almost verbatim make sense for Eddie too. So it's insane that it's 5 seasons after Maddie had this closure and he still hasn't. Yeah.
So that shows, like, they know how to address this, and they know how to write this kind of closure.
What are we waiting for?
This is where I thought we were going with the Vertigo arc, which is why so much of fandom was like, oh my God, I hate this arc. And I was like, no, it's going to give us this closure with Shannon. Like, he's going to have to address it and it's going to be great. And
like face on. And I think that's kind of what that confrontation with him and Kim were trying to do. But like that was just more trauma to the pile rather than like closure.
It's kind of like if I had to rewrite it, like I just wouldn't have Christopher and Marisol, drop in. Like, let them continue their conversation.
Yeah.
Because then that could have been
weirdly
that closure.
Yeah, exactly. But instead, like what happened. And that's why I thought, oh, well, that happened. He's gonna have to address it now because he's gonna have to address it in order to get to the root cause of why the fuck he did this insane thing. Because he only ever addresses his trauma if it's for Christopher. And that's really where I thought we were gonna go.
Yeah.
So now we should still do it, but you got to get there some other way, guys.
Like they really had it teed up.
They did.
A couple times.
Several times.
Yeah.
I
would really like to be able to see that like come to fruition in season 9. If we're building, if season 8, much like season 2, was like tearing Eddie down, season 9 can be like building Eddie up in like a healthier way, and that would be something that they would have to do. Fascinating.
Put this man back in therapy with Frank or hot priest. I don't care. I'm not picky.
Yeah. somehow.
Let's have him work through his shit. Goddamn.
He needs to really bad.
Anyway,
I just think he needed a new therapist.
Frank's good.
Frank is good, but it's just like Eddie isn't gonna. He has to want.
He wasn't
to
open
go.
to it.
That's the thing is like he was only doing it because he wanted to be better for Chris. He has to go because he wants to be better for himself.
Yeah,
or it's really never gonna work.
And maybe that's something that he can be working on because he's like looking to find like joy for himself, and he can't do that until like he does things for himself. Wow, what a concept. Onto the gay stuff.
Husbands.
Ah, yes.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
This episode gives us so much with so little.
Really does.
So it's so interesting that his kid wouldn't talk to him. He was so upset. And Eddie calls Buck. Like he calls Hen to bring Denny over for a play date, thinking that would help. Because what does he say? He's like, I thought it would be nice for the boys to have a play date.
Yeah.
And then Hen's like, all three of them. And they pan over and you see Buck there. So it's like literally, what is the reason for Buck to be there in this play date? Other than that, he's part of the family unit.
It's Eddie throwing a Hail Mary to try to appease Christopher for making him angry. He called Buck over to help fix it. Which has happened how many times?
So many. But I feel like that it's kind of like the bandage to like Eddie calling him an absentee father. And so like he actually did call Buck and he's like, I need help with Christopher. And he's like, okay, I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Buck's idea. Like I feel like he called Buck and told him the same story first. And that's why Buck is there.
Yeah.
So whether it was Buck's idea or actually Eddie's idea to call Hen and have Denny over, you know, Buck was involved in it first. So of course he's there because his kid is upset.
Something I don't want to open the door. I want him to open it for
But
me.
there's no reason for him to be there if it's not Chris and Eddie, because we've literally never seen him hanging out with Denny outside of a group 118 gathering.
No.
We've like barely seen them interact, actually.
Yeah.
So after Hen's like, all three of them, the camera cuts back to Eddie and he has the most disgusting goo hard eyes. Just
that's
staring
my family is what's going through his head.
Yeah.
That's my family.
He's like giving some
he's like,
817 vibes right now.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
especially
watching Buck and Christopher together smile. Because like what's more endearing to you than the person that you care about most other than your child, making your child happy and loving your child more than anyone else but you?
That's literally the most Eddie could ever ask for. Right?
Yeah.
Like that is the best thing in the world to him, for Christopher to be happy, and he knows how to make that happen. And that's Buck. Like, it's not rocket science, but it's like, how are you not getting it?
So interesting. And it's, you know, again, he's more than willing to do things that he wouldn't normally do if it's for Christopher. So like he asks for help if it's for Christopher, not for himself, you know. Then we have Christopher with the soul destroying line.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this broke my heart.
I know.
Okay. He's like, hey, Buck. And Buck's like, yeah. He's like, can I spend Christmas with you?
So many things about that.
Buck and Eddie, like, Buck looks up at Eddie, like, what's supposed to say? It's like this wordless parent communication, you know, where like, it's just like facial expressions very loudly back and forth.
Oh, it's classic Buck and Eddie speaking without actually speaking words.
Yes. He's like, what am I supposed to say? I can't tell him no, but I have to tell him no because I can't. You know, and he says, I'm sorry, buddy, but I'm going to be working on Christmas with your dad. He's like, stupid work.
Which is also something that we kind of
revisit
in another Christmas episode. It's always Christmas.
It's
No, but
always
there's-
Christmas. He could be dead next Christmas.
My God. There's definitely something there about letting Christopher down.
Yeah.
That also pertains to like one of the themes of parents disappointing their kids. So it's still positioning Buck in this place of parent, in this role.
So remember in Eddie's section when I was talking about what he said to Hen about how like he knows that Christopher's going to have a great time on Christmas even without him because, you know, he's going to be with Abuela and Aunt Peppa and his cousins. Freddie's going to be with family. So like Christopher knows that he's already going to be with family. Why is he asking Buck if he can spend Christmas with him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's almost like he sees Buck as a higher family member, closer family member. Closest thing he has to a parent other than his father.
So wild.
Almost like the family that Chris chooses.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say?
He just wants one of his dads there.
Yeah. He's like, at least one of them.
I just had like this visceral like image. I just needed to like bang my head on the desk. Like, oh my God.
Like, are you rocking back and forth right now? What is that?
A little bit. I was just like overcome with like the like, oh my God. I just had a violent moment. I'm fine now.
Yeah, because like that really is a question. Like, what is going through Christopher's mind? Because like again, like if he's gonna be spending, if he's gonna be at like, is it Tia Pepe's or Abuela's? Well, they're all gonna be there.
Yeah,
they're all gonna be there because that's Latino Christmas.
Abuela's taking him to Peppa's.
Yeah. That's a whole, like, you know, that is a Christmas where everyone is there. Like, the whole family is there. And you're just like, can I spend Christmas with you, Buck? Like,
that's where he wants to be.
He would rather be there. Which is, and not to say, like, he doesn't want to be with his other family. But I'm saying, like, it's just interesting how it's, like, the blood family versus the family that you choose. Which, for Chris, Buck is family.
And there's also, I think, something a little interesting here. Where we know that in the future seasons, like Eddie is kind of looking for someone to replace Shannon, which is also kind of interesting because we see that theme going on with Michael and Bobby, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, we know that nobody can replace Shannon realistically. But the fact that Chris wants to spend Christmas because he doesn't have his mom there and he won't have his dad. He wants to spend it with Buck. That Buck is like that next best thing. And I think we've mentioned this before. I don't know if it was episode 3 or just like part of the tsunami arc. It's basically Christopher choosing the family that he wants and having Buck be that other role and choosing him to be not a replacement for Shannon, but that other parental figure that he wants in his life. And Christmas is so special to Christopher that he wants that special time and moment to be spent with Buck.
Think about it. What was Chris's 2 most special Christmas wishes? It was first that his dad would be home for Christmas, which happened. And then the second was that his mom would be home for Christmas, which happened. So he was like, maybe I can pull it off a third time. Buck, can I spend Christmas with you?
I absolutely think that went through his head. Yeah. Oh my God.
It's okay because he got to spend Christmas with both of his dads. It's okay.
Yeah.
but it's just so sad. And then Buck, you know, he stands up after Chris is like, stupid work. And Buck's like, is it just me or does Christmas suck this year? And Eddie's like, definitely not just you. So like, you know, it's just 2 parents being bummed out that they can't spend Christmas with their kid.
And disappointing their kid. Wow.
Anything else about that scene?
That just got more and more depressing the more we talked about it, which is great. But it also got deeper, which is great. Yeah. But like, that hurts so much more.
Okay, so then the only other scene we have to talk about today for Slow Burn is the Christmas party at the end. I did mention earlier that definitely threw because of this guilt he was feeling about letting Christopher down. And because it was not just him letting him down, but because it was like, well, Eddie, you know, Chris should get to spend it with Eddie and Eddie should get to spend it with Chris. And like he asked for me, so I should also be there. So
It kills like all of the birds with one stone.
Yeah, and then it was like, oh, then I get to make everyone happy. So like, no one has to not be with their family on Christmas.
It's classic Buck grand gesture. Like
it very much is.
It came about because of Eddie and Christopher, but it also benefits everybody else, like the entire family. But like, yeah, the impetus of it being Eddie and Christopher, it is a grand gesture.
Yep.
Of love.
So like once everyone runs up the stairs and then Eddie sees Chris and yells Chris and runs over to him and Abuela, it cuts back over to Buck, who's like, his giant Bigfoot self has like an arm up on one of the wooden beams.
Well, he has to like
at an
bend
angle
down to like,
because he's too tall.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just staring at Eddie and Chris and Abuela being so happy, and he's just cheesing because he's like, look what I did. Look at them. That's my family.
It's kind of like a little mirror parallel, like a much more positive. Yeah, a reverse. Thank you. A reverse mirror to Michael watching his family, like over off to the side. We have Buck watching his family off to the side, but like it's much more like happy and positive because like he made this happen for them. But it is kind of a little bit like a slightly removed. He doesn't necessarily feel like he has that special place in that familial unit.
Well, he's letting them have their moment first because that's
too.
family. I thought you were going to say it's paralleling 817, just reversed.
Oh, that too. I didn't get that far, but yes,
because it is.
Oh, 100%. Just like looking on, just like lovingly, and
that's just what they do. They're like grand gesture. Here's our kid. And another family member
passes Chris back and forth. It's like, this is for you. This is for you.
This makes you happy. It's actually both of yours. Yeah. So
those sillies,
just like Simba and the Lion King, like just being held up, like here you go. Just kind of like hanging out there.
Oh my god. So then Buck goes over to like Hen and Karen.
I'm glad you clocked this.
And he grabs the mistletoe off the ceiling.
Yes.
And like holds it over Hen's head while he kisses her on the cheek, right?
So cute.
Which, like, I don't think they were already under the mistletoe. He didn't need to take it off the ceiling. He could have just kissed her on the cheek.
So where'd you grab that?
So where was he going to bring it?
So interesting. When he walks away from Hen and Karen, he walks right over to Eddie and Chris.
Does he really?
Yeah.
While he's still holding the mistletoe.
And
I wrote, what you doing with that mistletoe, Buck?
It's like in the background, like you just see him walk over.
It's background, buddy.
Yeah.
It's while Hen and Karen are talking. Because like he walks away and they have their conversation, but it's in the background, him walking over and he's still holding the mistletoe.
That's wild.
It's so interesting. Why did we need to do that? Writers, director.
What was the point of that blocking? Why did you need to grab it from the place where you hung it? Because that's what mistletoe does.
That's where they were already standing. Why did he need to walk away with it over to Eddie specifically?
Fan fiction gap.
I know.
That's why.
I wonder if there are fics about that. I wonder if anyone else clocked it.
There's not a lot of early season fan fiction gap fics, sadly. There were not as many fics in the fandom pre-season 7, like at the rate that we get them now.
Oh, yeah.
Like at all.
It's like fanfic is being like mass produced right now.
Yes.
This fandom. It's crazy.
Like the Gutenberg printing press of so nerdy.
That was
extremely. Unfortunately, we're also nerdy and understood that.
I know.
Anyway, so then,
oh my god.
Then when everyone is sitting down to finally eat their Christmas dinner, which looked like such a good spread, there's obviously Bobby at the head of the table, and then you have like his nuclear family, so Athena and the kids and Michael. And then who's right afterwards? Oh, Buck and Maddie across from each other because like brother and sister. And who's right next to Maddie? It's Chimney, right? Okay. Well, who's across from Chimney? Oh, Christopher. And then who's right next to, on the other side of Christopher? Obviously, his dad. So it's like you were sitting your child in between the two parents.
all of the families were seated next to each other as opposed to across from each other. So, I mean, you get Bobby and Athena and Michael. I mean, they take up the head and like the 4 seats at the top of the table, but like Maddie and Chimney were next to each other. Like, I think Hen and Karen were next to each other.
I'm pretty positive. Let me double check.
So it's like the little family units are next to each other. And the extended is across. So like Buck is across from Maddie. She's still part of his like blood family, but it's Buck, Christopher, Eddie all together. I mean, the way it should be. But like when you have all of the other couples seated next to each other as opposed to across, that's something.
Okay, it is Bobby at the head, then Michael and Athena across from each other, and then Harry and May across from each other, and Buck and Maddie, then Christopher and Chimney, then Eddie and Hen across from each other. Yep, Hen and Karen are right next to each other, and Denny's right next to them.
So even the kids right next to you.
Yep, and then Abuela's obviously right next to Eddie.
Yeah. Yep. So that's interesting. Seating arrangements. Now the question is, would Athena and Buck have, or would Athena have arranged it so? Did they have seating like assignments, or did they just naturally all gravitate in that?
I don't know. I mean, I would say with how detail oriented both Buck and Athena are, that there's probably a seating arrangement.
Yeah. Which is also interesting too, because if Athena were doing that because she was the one setting everything up, because the rest of the 118 was at the call, she did that with intention.
So yeah, well, not only is the intention there, it's the intention that Buck is right next to her kids.
Yeah.
So like after her kids, Buck is the kid.
Yes. Because he's right next to Harry, I think, right? And then you also have like May and Maddie together, and they get closer later on in the seasons. And it's just like, yeah, that is so interesting. Because it's the extended family of the extended family, but like also the kid of, come on.
Yeah, so that does speak of Athena specifically, I think, because Buck was right there. And she was like, well, I want to see Maddie, and sat Maddie across, and then Maddie was the one that's next to Chimney. And then, of course, it reminds me of, I don't know what episode this is from, but it's like, if we invite, I think it's Hen. It's like, if we invite Chimney, then he'll want to invite Maddie, and Maddie will invite Buck, and Buck will invite Eddie.
And one of those things just isn't the same. Everybody's bringing their partners, but only one of them is not quote unquote a romantic partner. It's that same thing.
Yes.
They're just a unit, just like the romantic partners.
Yep.
They're ridiculous.
And then the last little thing is that is it by the pinball machine again?
Yes.
Yeah. So cute. It's Abuela and Eddie and Chris over by the pinball machine, and Buck brings over this gigantic present. Super interesting. So we don't see him bring anyone out. Not one soul. Not a sister. Not his pseudo dad. Not the other kids. Just Christopher.
Like he's making up for
not being there. For being an absentee dad.
Sorry I was gone for a month. And by your love, you forget that I was gone. Meanwhile, Christopher's already forgotten.
Oh, yeah.
It's like he's proving himself to his man over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That he can provide and like make Christopher happy. And it's really cute because it's like at that point where all of like the smaller family units
all of the nuclear
like broken
off with each other. Like May and Harry are bringing presents over to their parents, their 3 parents, you know, and then Denny's with his moms, and like everyone's broken. Maddie and Chimney, like everyone's broken off into their nuclear families, and you know, instead of having Buck just kind of watching everything or being with, you know, Maddie, his sister,
he hops over to where Christopher and Eddie and Abuela is, which is just another one of those things. And like, I think we really see how early on, like Buck has been incorporated into the Diaz family. Like we see in 817, like how much Tia Peppa has like sees Buck as family too. And I think like Abuela is the same thing.
Yeah.
It just, they are a smaller family within the larger family. There's no refuting that.
I love how pictures of that scene are canon in universe. Because in season 8 you do have like actually you have multiple shots from this particular episode. You have like the group photo. I think they've used it and put it in Eddie's mantle, and then they've used the picture of Buck giving Christopher the present. So
wasn't that one of the pictures on like Buck's fridge?
Yeah, I think so too. So really, he's been so integrated in that family
for so long, and like honestly, it's longer than season 3. That's just like when it became like so much stronger. But really, from 204, when Buck
is introduced,
told Eddie to bring, when Buck met Tia Peppa and said bring Christopher over to the station and cleared it with Bobby and got Carla for Eddie, and just like again, it's part of the similar like grand gesture here. I wonder also if like there's an aspect of knowing that like Eddie wouldn't accept a kind of gift unless it is for Christopher, sort of thing, if that makes sense.
I feel like if if Buck had told him his plans, like I don't think Eddie would be like, no, don't do that, or you shouldn't have to do that, or go out of your way to do all that. So like everything that Buck does, especially for Eddie, like he can't tell him, because then it's like he's going to be met with like some form of resistance, because he's like, it's either for Eddie, he's probably going to see it like it, one, doesn't deserve it, two, it might be like he's just going to be met with some form of resistance.
Yes. And I mean, I know we keep talking about 817 and that kind of like reverse grand gesture sort of thing, but we haven't brought up 809.
I know.
with
that's what I was thinking about.
That sparked for me too, with Buck coming in, not telling Eddie, specifically not telling him, right, because he used the Freddie Figman name, and said like, I'm going to take care of your lease so you can be with your son, our son. And it's like, these are very similar things. I mean, just like across the board, these grand gestures that Buck makes for Eddie have to do with Christopher specifically, because I think that's one of the only ways that Eddie will accept some kind of like nicety, because he can excuse it as it being for Christopher. And Buck knows this, but it's really for Eddie. It's some for Christopher as well, but like it's really for Eddie. And it's just like that continual, these things that Buck does to benefit their family unit, like that is just phenomenal, so lovely, and so consistent. Remember, don't throw a Christmas party.
But if you do,
take a buddy with you.
Thank you for listening to the Buddy System podcast from start to finish.
We literally cannot shut up about 911, so please come talk to us on your favorite social media platform.
We're at Buddy System Pod everywhere. That's BUDDIE System Pod.
Leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts to get a personal shout out in the next episode. The Buddy System is a Nerd Virgin Media production featuring music from Divinity.
Can't get enough of the buddies? Subscribe to our Patreon for access to exclusive content in our Discord community.
Catch you next time, and don't forget,
bring a buddy with you.